Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and in this episode we're back working on Archie my 996, and this time it's to replace the water pump. Okay guys, welcome back, and we're working again on Archie my 996 today. And if you're enjoying these videos and you haven't subscribed, please think about doing it. It just keeps the ball rolling in the right direction. So in any case, today I thought we'd tackle the water pump on Archie because it's a known point of failure on 996s. The impeller on the water pump of 996s is from the factory is plastic, and when the bearing starts to go, if it gets really bad, that plastic impeller can sort of break up on the housing and send bits of plastic in through the engine. I haven't actually heard any nasty noises or anything in particular yet, but because it's a known point of failure, I don't know how old it is or when it was done. I thought it was not a bad thing to tackle on this car, and I haven't changed the coolant in this car yet either, so I thought I can do all of that and kill two birds with one stone and get it all sorted so I can rest easy. So first things first, let's pop the engine bay, get the air filter out and get that belt off the back. That's the first job. So I was just in here checking the pulleys, and I actually found that this center nut on the air conditioning compressor was slightly loose, because I was getting a weird rattling sound when I put the aircon on, so that's good to find. Now that feels much better. I've just nipped it up. I'm not sure what the torque is or even how you're supposed to torque it up, because you need to hold this center part steady while you do that up, but I've got a bit of tension in that now. It feels much nicer. Most of the other pulleys feel pretty good. This idler might need a bearing sometime in the future, but it's not too bad. And even the water pump, which is right down the bottom here, actually at the moment still feels fine, but I'm happy to just replace it just for peace of mind, so that I know that it's done and this whole car is up to scratch. Okay, car's now up in the air. I'm just going to disconnect this hose going straight to the water pump, which is right here, and drain that out. So I've got no coolant left in the system, or at least in this part of the system. I'll probably do the rest later. Okay, so I've got the bulk of the system drained now, pulling these hoses. There is the little drain plug here, which I'll pull in a second as well. But that's most of the coolant out of the car, but it's not all of it. And if you look into how Porsche recommends to get the coolant out, is actually pulling out the underbody trays and disconnecting lines and getting all the coolant out of the radiators that way. And some even recommend pulling the bumper off the front and disconnecting the radiator so you physically get it all out. That's a whole lot of work, and I did a bit more research and found someone on Renlist who did a thread on how they did it, and he apparently looked into exactly how everything runs and found the optimal method, which is actually to add a bit of pressure, about up to about 10 psi, into the coolant filling neck in the engine bay, and that should force air through the radiators at the front and get a nice big gush of the rest of the coolant coming out of this line here. So that's what I'm going to do now. Whoa! That was amazing. That worked so well. There's just all the fluids came out. Just a little bit of pressure at a time, just lightly adding a bit of pressure, and all of the fluids came out. Now I'm quite happy with that. That is a great method to flush the radiator. Not too much pressure. Don't want to blow radiators up or anything, but that's good. I'm liking it. So, all right, I think that's the bulk of that system done. So now we need to tackle the very last of where the coolant is hidden, and that is in the heater core. All right, so as I said, the last of the coolant is in the heater core, and the easiest way to get that out Apparently there isn't a valve on it, so and actually just turning the heater on is not actually going to drain it, because apparently the hoses in and out of the core itself are on the top. So no matter what you do, unless you actually pressurize the system, you're not going to get that heater core clear. You'll get the stuff out of the hoses either side, but you won't actually get the stuff out of the core itself. As this car has green coolant for some reason, it should really have a red. I want to make sure I'm clearing all of it out, get rid of all traces of it, so I don't mix coolants, because that's not a good idea. So I'm going to take this heater core hose off now, which is this one here, and undo the couple of bolts on the hard line so I can get it away. I've just noticed that this clamp is broken on this car, so that's just going to make it even more fun, isn't it? Again, that worked really well. So I disconnected this hose here, basically just put a bit of pressure into the hose end, and it all came back out the other side. So the heater matrix is all empty of its coolant as well. So I'm happy that I have a car that is completely empty of coolant. Now let's change the water pump, and then I'm going to have to see about trying to fill it back up again. That's going to be the rough bit. Okay, there's a little mounting tab, this sort of solid block at the back of the engine that I've just put a stand underneath. If you're doing this on the ground, you could use just a trolley jack or something underneath, just to take the weight of the engine, because we need to disconnect this, basically move the engine off of this engine support bar so that we can get the water pump out, because at the moment it's all too tight. So now that's sort of supported, we undo these brackets on the exhaust, move that out of the way. We can take this little bracket here out and then loosen up the bolts on the engine support bracket itself. So let's, these ones, then these ones, then these ones. This bracket here, I undid these 3 bolts at the bottom, and then there's another 2, one you need to get up higher, and now I've got it. I haven't loosened those bolts off completely, I've just backed them off a bit. The nuts are still on the end, and it's just enough so that I've got a bit of flex in this plate, so I should be able to get in to get this water pump off. So now we want to take the 7 bolts off around the water pump, and you have to make sure you keep them in the right order, because there's a couple of bolts that are longer than the others. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you my method of keeping everything in the correct order. So for things like this water pump or bell housings or anything where you need to try and keep the bolts in the same order they came out of, the best way is to draw a basic plan on a piece of cardboard and then use that. Now I've got the new water pump here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very, very quick trace around the water pump, just very rough, just so that I have a bit of an idea of where they are, and then I'm going to mark all of the bolt holes, and I take a screwdriver and I just punch holes into my box as I go around, and I usually just chuck an arrow showing that's up. So I know which way to orient the plan. I've got my my basic layout here with the pre-punched holes, so I can just take each bolt out and put it in the place it came out of, so I know exactly where they all go, so I don't get it mixed up when I put it back together again. All right, here's the old pump is off. Now, all of these bolts came out reasonably easily, except for this last one here. Basically, because of the angle you've got on it, to try and get into that bolt is quite difficult. I managed to crack it with a long 10mm socket with the ratchet on the end, but then to actually get it out, I ended up using a knuckle, so I could change the direction on with a short socket, and just It was a bit of a pain, but it wasn't the end of the world. I did get it out. I can see here that the pump actually seems like it's in reasonable condition, although there are a few nicks on the edges of the pump itself. So it looks like something has touched it at some stage. But either way, it's not too bad. But I am happy to replace it, and I'm actually going with this this pump here, which actually has a metal impeller. So I've heard arguments both ways. One is that the plastic parts, when the impeller goes on the plastic ones, it sends little shards of plastic all through your engine, which can block up water galleries and stuff your engine up. The argument on the other side is if this one, the bearing goes enough, the metal can actually eat away on the housing on the outside of the engine. Either way, these are not that expensive. They should last quite some time, and generally you'll hear a little bit of rattling when it starts going, and you can also see generally you'll start losing coolant, you'll start overheating. You might see a little bit of a weep, and the coolant will start coming out. That's generally a telltale that your water pump is going. So I grabbed one of these. I thought I'd actually test things out, and I shopped locally to try and find prices for this exact same pump. And ended up again shopping on PorschePartsByJeff.com and found the exact same pump for 2/3 of the price shipped to my door. Yes, it did come from the US. I'm here in Australia, but it only took about a week. The Australian price was just the pump. The one that I got from the US, I got the pump plus a gasket plus all new bolts and a bottle of genuine Porsche coolant, all for 2/3 of the price of what I could get it locally. So make sure, as I say regularly, check out PorschePartsByJeff.com and compare prices there. We don't sell anything, we just show you where the best prices are. So check it out, it definitely works. All right, let's make sure this surface is all nice and clean, and then we'll start looking at putting the new pump in. So I've got the gasket out here, and basically this gasket is for the water pump, but it's also for another gallery that we're not removing. So we need to actually go through, there's plenty of space here to actually snip the gasket on these sort of 3 locations and make just the water pump side just by itself. Got some tin snips, just quick little snip of each one, and it should be good to go. Snip, 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 and we're all good. So let's mount the pump up. I'm mounting it up dry. I don't want any sealant on this. It should seal, hopefully, as is. That's the aim of this thing. So let's give it a go. All right, well, we've got this all buttoned back up again. All the hoses are reconnected, I am pretty sure. I'll soon find out if it starts leaking when I start filling it. But now it's time to get it back down, put the belt back on, the air filter back in, filter box back in, and then start filling it up. Okay, so now that I have buttoned everything back up again, obviously you need to fill it back up with coolant. But I can't do that just yet, because the issue is that this car had the wrong coolant in it. It was green. It shouldn't be green, it should be red. That's the wrong coolant. That's coolant for older cars. As I know it's the wrong stuff, even if you don't know what stuff it is, you shouldn't mix coolants. So I'm going to flush the entire system, which is a bit of a pain because it basically means filling the whole thing up, running it through, dumping it out, and doing the whole thing twice. But it's worth doing it to do it properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run some radiator flush through it in with some demineralized water, just so that it's nice and clean, and clean it out. Run it for about 10 or 15 minutes with this stuff, and then dump it and do it again. So let's start filling. I'll start filling while it's flat, and then I'll move the car up onto an angle on the driveway and make sure it's on an angle with its butt in the air because that's the way we can bleed the whole system. So in here, this is the burper valve, bleeder valve. You want to make sure that is sitting upright, like so. That opens the valve and lets all the air back out of the system while you're filling it. All right, that's as much as it wants to take right now, so I'm going to start the engine, and while it's running, I'm going to continue to top this up, because as soon as I start it, it's going to start pumping it through the system, and actually the level is going to go down, so I'm going to just keep topping it up, keep an eye on it, and just continue to run it to make sure we've got it nice and full. All right, so I backed the car up here up on the driveway and got it on a bit of an angle and ran it for about 15 minutes or so. To say it was pretty stressful is an understatement. Trying to get it to suck the fluids through. Basically, it wasn't really sucking anything through. And then every now and then you sort of see the fluid level rise up in the coolant filling tank and sort of bubble out a bit, and then a bit more, and bubble backwards and forwards. It was... I eventually got the thermostat to open and the fans to go, and it started bubbling like crazy, and it's full as I can get it, but I still don't think it's full. I think it took about 15 litres. It needs to take about 20, but that is probably enough for the flush. That's got through most of it. So what I'm going to do is just going to let it cool off, and then I might move it in and drain the rest of the fluid out, and then we can try and fill it back up with the good stuff. Okay, well, I drained out the hoses as well as the drain plug. That's all now completely dry again, so it's time to refill the system. I'm going to use some of this Penrite Red, which is designed for this type of car. Yes, I do have some of the Porsche stuff here, but I don't actually have enough to do the whole system. That, I think, is just designed if you're just going to sort of top it up. In theory, the Porsche stuff is a lifetime coolant, but it does need to be changed. The lifetime stuff that Porsche's said on lots of their things is lifetime-ish. So anyway, this is the good stuff. I'm going to top it up now and go through the whole process again. All right, well, temperature and the coolant level is now, seems like it's holding reasonably steady. It was a bit of backwards and forwards, just revving the car up, filling it, just making sure that it got to the warmed up enough so that the thermo fans went on. I knew the thermostat had opened. The temperature seems to be holding reasonably well. I'm going to monitor it over the next couple of days, just doing some short trips around, just get it out, get it moving, get everything sort of sloshing around. The heater is blowing hot air, so I know we have coolant going back in through the heater core. It's looking pretty good. So that is it for another one. As always, hopefully you got something out of this. If you haven't subscribed already, obviously do that. And if you want to support me doing silly videos and the rest of my projects, you can join us on Patreon, watch the videos a day early, ad-free. And if you need any parts for your Porsches, make sure you compare prices at PorschePartsByJeff.com first. All right, guys, see you next time.